In the beginning of the parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu is speaking to the Yidden and telling them how Voeschanan el Hashem, that he was asking Hashem to be able to go into Eretz Yisrael. What does the word Voeschanan mean? In the Sifri, there are two opinions, two explanations. One is that the word Voeschanan means a matnas chinam. Moshe Rabbeinu was asking for a free gift. He's not asking because of anything that he deserves. He's asking it for free. Another explanation is that the word Voeschanan is actually one of the expressions of tefillah. There's many different ways how tefillah is referred to. This is one of the expressions for the idea of davening. Now in the Medrash Rabbah, these two ideas are also brought, but there it's brought not as two separate opinions, but rather as one point, that there are 10 expressions of tefillah. Moshe Rabbeinu uses an expression that has the meaning of tachanunim, of begging and pleading, because a person doesn't really have any claims, so to speak, to Hashem. He can't demand it. So in other words, according to the Medrash, the word Voeschanan is a davening. It's an inyan of tefillah, but the kind of tefillah it is where you're pleading and begging something in a way of chinam, in a way of a free gift. Says the Rebbe, we need to understand the svara of the machloikas, whether this is one pirush, as the Medrash Rabbah puts them both together, or there's two separate ideas over here, as in the Sifri. One is that it's a matnas chinam, and the other that it's a tefillah. Says the Rebbe, there are some Mefarshim that explain that according to the first pirush of the Sifri, the word Voeschanan is actually as if it would have said with a final mem at the end. Voeschanam. In other words, the word Voeschanan itself is not an expression of tefillah, it's an expression from the shoydish of the word chinam. And therefore it's not one of the expressions for tefillah. Rather, it just means matnas chinam. Whereas, according to the second explanation of the Sifri, the word Voeschanan is from the word of tchina, tachanunim, begging, pleading. In other words, the idea of a tefillah. According to the Medrash, then, that combines the two things. So that would then mean that yes, Voeschanan does mean pleading and begging. It is an idea of tefillah. But what kind of tefillah are you davening for? You're davening for a matnas chinam, for a free gift. Says the Rebbe, we need to understand, at the end of the day, since both according to the Medrash and according to the Sifri, what Moshe Rabbeinu is davening for, the first pirush in the Sifri, what Moshe Rabbeinu is davening for and asking for is a matnas chinam, a free gift, then bottom line is, what is the difference if Voeschanan is just, as the Sifri puts it, asking for a matnas chinam, for a free gift, or, as the Medrash puts it, that it's a tefillah that includes the kind of tefillah for a free gift. So in this sikha, again, the Rebbe is mainly going to be contrasting the first pirush of the Sifri, that it's just a matnas chinam, or the pirush of the Medrash, that it's a combination of a tefillah for a matnas chinam. Says the Rebbe, the explanation is, when we ask for our needs from Hashem, there are two ideas. Number one is how we ask it. Are we asking it in a way of pleading, begging, or are we demanding it? Number two is how we see the reason why it is that Hashem should fulfill our request. Do we feel that we deserve it? Or are we actually feeling undeserving or asking purely for a matnas chinam? That is, on the one hand, Hashem created the person, so Hashem should be supplying the person with all of his needs. Especially if it's a Yid and he keeps Torah and mitzvahs. And in truth, says the Rebbe, that's really the main idea of tefillah. Tefillah is that a person davens to Hashem, and why is Hashem going to fulfill it? Because to a certain degree, he has chusim. He does deserve it in a certain way. Are you going to say then why is he davening? That is because even when Hashem is giving you for what as a payment, Hashem is really not obligated in that. That itself is a kindness from Hashem that he gives us according to what we deserve, according to what we worked, according to our schusim, etc. Hashem doesn't owe anybody anything. And therefore we daven to Hashem. But even as we're davening, we're not demanding, we're asking that Hashem should give it to us as a matnas chinam. Says the Rebbe, here will now come to seeing that even within the matnas chinam itself, there could be two ways. And this is going to be the difference between the Sifri and the Medrash. One way is that the person feels that he deserves something for his avodah. But again, there's the way he asks for it. Even though he feels that he did something, but the way he asks for it, he's asking for it in the way of begging, pleading, not in the way of demanding. And this would fit with the Medrash. The Medrash says that yes, it is a tefillah. And tefillah, again, we said, is connected with one's chusim. But what kind of tefillah is it? It's a tefillah that is the kind of tefillah that's a tachanunim. He's begging and pleading for a matnas chinam. But then there's another way. And that is, it's not only about how he's asking, but the person really truly feels that he doesn't have any merits and that he doesn't deserve it. And he's only asking for a matnas chinam. And therefore, that's not really the idea of tefillah. It's not one of the ways of tefillah, because tefillah, again, is associated with the person having certain schusim, certain merits. And therefore, this is going to fit with the Sifri, the first opinion of the Sifri, that it's totally not an expression of tefillah. It's purely asking for a free gift. It's a matnas chinam. Now, applying this to Moshe Rabbeinu surely knows of all of his qualities and his virtues, etc. But because of his tremendous humility, he doesn't feel that he really deserves anything for that. Whatever he has is a gift from Hashem. Hashem gave him the abilities to do it. Perhaps if somebody else would have those same qualities, would have done even a better job. So Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't feel that he truly deserves it. Says the Rebbe, with this we're now also going to understand the two pirushim that there's also in how Hashem responds to Moshe Rabbeinu. Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, Ravloch. What does Ravloch mean? So Rashi gives two explanations. And they're going to fit with these two ways of how we understand what Moshe Rabbeinu was davening or asking for. According to the Pshat, Moshe Rabbeinu was actually asking for a matnas chinam, just for a free gift. So Hashem says Ravloch, and Rashi explains that what it means is that people shouldn't say how difficult the master is, Kavayachal Hashem, not giving in, and how difficult Moshe Rabbeinu is, stubborn, that he's not letting go. So, because if not for that reason, in other words, if it's only as far as matnas chinam, if Moshe Rabbeinu is purely asking for a matnas chinam, not because of his merits, not because of anything that he does, there's really no limit to how much he could keep on asking. So Hashem just tells him, please stop, so people shouldn't say that Hashem is not giving in. Whereas, according to the Pshat, that it's actually an expression of tefillah, which tefillah again is associated with the merits of the person davening. So Hashem says something else. Ravloch has another explanation. Hashem says to him, you have plenty of reward coming to you, much more than just coming into Eretz Yisrael. You do have merits, and you have plenty of reward coming for that. Says the Rebbe, we still need to understand. What is the basis for the machloikas between the Sifri and the Medrash? Why is there a difference whether the matnas chinam is only in the way he's davening? In other words, he's davening, and we're saying he's davening in a way that he's only asking, not that I deserve it, but please give it to me anyways. Or we're saying that it's not even a tefillah. The person really feels that he doesn't deserve anything, and he's just asking for a free gift. Says the Rebbe, we're going to explain this by first having a look on when Moshe Rabbeinu is davening. On Moshe Rabbeinu, there's a decree, a gzeira, that he shouldn't go into Eretz Yisrael. So this is now the machloikas between the Sifri and the Medrash. This is based on the machloikas whether tefillah, whether davening helps after a decree is made already. So the Medrash goes with the opinion that yes, tefillah even helps after the decree, and therefore Moshe Rabbeinu could do a tefillah. Voeschanan is an expression of tefillah. It's just the way he's asking it is in a way of matnas chinam. Whereas according to the Sifri, the first pirush of the Sifri, that it's purely just a matnas chinam, that's because the Sifri holds, in this opinion, that tefillah totally doesn't help after a gzeira is made, and therefore he's not davening. He's just purely asking for a free gift. Says the Rebbe, this would also be an explanation of the machloikas between the Bavli and the Yerushalmi. The Mishnah discusses that if a woman is pregnant and you're davening that your wife should give birth to a boy, it's considered a tefillah shav, it's in vain. According to the Bavli, this refers to the time after the first 40 days when the child had started taking shape already. According to the Yerushalmi, even then a person could still daven, up until the time that the woman is in labor. According to one opinion, even then you could also daven. Why this difference? Because according to the Bavli, the tefillah is measured according to the limitations of the one davening. And therefore, since according to Teva, the child cannot change already after 40 days, it's a tefillah shav. Yerushalmi has another approach. There are things that come l'mayla that's completely undeserved, not according to your avodah, not according to your tefillah. It's a matnas chinam, it's not about tefillah. There's no limitations at all. And therefore it could change even afterwards as well. The Rebbe now turns to the chassidus of all of this. The Alter Rebbe explains in Likutei Torah that the idea of Voeschanan being a matnas chinam is that Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to bring down that it should shine into the Yidden such a great level of elikus that's completely higher than anything we could achieve through avodah. In the language of chassidus, it's an isarusa de le'ela, and a razzle from above that's higher than our isarusa de l'sat. And that's the idea of a matnas chinam, like a free gift. This will explain to us the opinion of the Sifri, that Voeschanan is not an expression of tefillah. Because tefillah is usually all about the person's avodah going milmata l'mayla, from below to above. It's called isarusa de l'sata. But Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to achieve this matnas chinam, and therefore Moshe Rabbeinu is asking for a matnas chinam. That's the way his expression is. He's asking for a matnas chinam. It's not an expression of tefillah. Whereas the Medrash holds that even Voeschanan, the matnas chinam, is also associated with tefillah. How does that make sense? So the Rebbe looks first at Tzemach Tzedek discussing this Ma'amer L'Kutei Torah. In L'Kutei Torah it says that the request of Moshe Rabbeinu, that it should come down, the oil of Hashem should come down, a way of His Harusin Le'ela, is really that Moshe Rabbeinu is davening for the idea of Torah. Torah works in this way, that it's coming down from above, Milamayla. So the Tzemach Tzedek asks a simple question. The Torah was given to us. So what does it mean that Moshe Rabbeinu's davening request was not fulfilled? So the Tzemach Tzedek explains that Moshe Rabbeinu really wanted that there should be a combination of the two advantages of Torah and Tefillah. Torah is, as we said, this great gift coming from above. But Tefillah has the advantage that it impacts the Gashmias. You daven that a person should become well, that a person should have Parnasa. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted that the Hamshacha, that energy that comes through Torah, should be in that way impacting the Gashmias, the world. And that's what the Medrash is saying, that the Matnas Chinam itself, on the one hand coming from above, but that itself is one of the expressions of Tefillah. In other words, the combination of these two things, both the gift from above, which is like Torah, together with the advantage of Tefillah, which has an impact on the Gashmias. But once again, practically, we say that request of Moshe Rabbeinu was not fulfilled then, because the ultimate goal is that everything comes through avodah, through a person's hard work, and not as a gift from above. And really, through avodah, ultimately we'll get to even a greater shleimus, to a greater perfection and a greater oir, which will, of course, all be revealed with Vias Mashiach Tzidkeinu, b'meheira v'yameinu mamash.